Numa, the notoriously known easiest high ground map, which was the next installment of the World at War DLC cycle. This map was probably one of the more controversial ones, being in between all the innovation for Rooked and one of the most highly respected maps to Reese. It put Numa in a weird spot. While the map retains all the same content from its predecessors, it almost innovated on nothing. So is Numa a bad map? Or is it simply looked down on because of the maps that surround it? Hey guys, I'm Tuxedo, and today marks the third episode in our Zombies analysis series, heavily inspired by the Smith Plays Zombie Retrospective series. We will make it to Rev. I'm curious on what you guys think about Numa as a map, so let me know in the comments. Also, if you're new here and you enjoy this video or videos like it, why not subscribe for more content? Anyways, let's get into the Swamp of the Dead. One of the first things you might see when you spawn in is Peter McCain. Now, what exactly is his purpose? Well, still no one really knows. But he does sit there and hangs out. Also, if you throw a grenade at him, he does a little dance. Another disgraceful thing in the spawn room is this piece of garbage. Listen, it's not bad, but compared to the Kar 98K, it's dog shit and I won't hear otherwise. Overall, the spawn room is pretty basic. You have some friends on the floor, and if you go through this door, you may have been dropped as a child. One of the biggest complaints I hear about Numa is that it's boring. And you know what? Fair. The map feels very basic, and with the dark, ugly green colors around the swamp, it can be unpleasant to look at. The atmosphere isn't bad, honestly, and has little things like the insect and animal sounds that do make you feel like you're in a swamp. More Easter eggs were introduced into the Numa, like these notes found around the map, or hearing Richtofen laugh when you interact with the shelf. Another thing introduced in Numa was the layout for many future Zombies maps, having one central area with 4 different ways to go. It's very similar to Shadows of Evil in a way, but doesn't flow together as well. The Wunderwaffe being the first real wonder weapon in Zombies was a unique idea, and is such a nice change from only being able to use the ray gun, which can always down you if you're not careful. The Waff also doesn't feel OP, even if it is very easy to use for high rounds. It's not like the Thunder Gun, where you can always save yourself if you get stuck in a corner, but it also isn't as dangerous as the ray gun, finding a good middle ground. I also really like the design of the Waff. While basic, it does feel like a weapon created in a lab somewhere, but not too realistic that it doesn't fit zombies. It has a sci-fi feel and is easily one of the most iconic COD Zombies wonder weapons. You know we had to talk about them, so here we go. Perks were introduced on the previous map for Rooks, and made a return in Numa, but this time, instead of having set locations, they could change where they are randomly. Now, people in the Zombies community hate, and I mean hate, anything that's RNG, but I have to be honest, the randomness of perks doesn't really bother me. Can it be annoying for a perk to not be the one you want? Sure, but I don't think it's as bad as people say. Especially when there's way worse RNG in future maps, like most of Black Ops 1 having hit the box for Easter eggs, or steps like waiting for excavators. Solo play on Numa can be an easy, repetitive experience with the 24 zombies limit per round. Now, while this experience can be fun, the map transforms into something completely different on co-op. Co-op play can make Numa feel more fleshed out, and something we'll see for most of the earlier maps is that they were designed for co-op, especially when we get into Black Ops 1. But even in World at War, it can be seen that the game was made for more than one person. Like I said about Verrückt, it's fun solo, but with people it's just a much better experience. Now you may be asking yourself, who is this man right here, down on the floor? He kind of looks like an orange juice enjoyer, someone could say. And you would be correct in saying this, that this is the YouTube sensation Zesty Moon. You may also be asking why he died in round 5, and while he would say it was due to his ping being 200, that seems like an excuse to me, and the real reason is the orange juice is making him weak, and also skill issue plus ratio plus Y be better. But for real though, shout out him for waking up at 5 AM and dragging his disciple to help me get some Numa footage. Go subscribe to him or I'll hang you next to Peter. One thing I did learn about playing co-op Numa is that teamwork is very important, especially when the dogs come, because if you're not all in a corner or have the waff, you say goodbye to your run. Hellhounds in World at War provide challenge, but also are rewarding, especially when your most important resource is ammo. I also love how easy it is to just get in a game of co-op and just go for high rounds casually while talking to people about life and overall having a fun time. While personally I do think Numa is more replayable because of how fast you can go through the rounds, co-op makes the experience feel like an entirely different map, and honestly, I had a lot of fun playing it. Another reason why people dislike Numa is the lack of innovation in this map. Noct introduced us into the mode. Farouk added so many important features that define the mode today, but Numa from a gameplay perspective only added a new wonder weapon in Hellhounds. Oh yeah, and can't forget the zipline. Now while boss zombies would be an important feature to the game, the feature isn't big enough to be game defining like done in Farouk. However, Numa did add important features for the game mode. For example, we're introduced to our 4 beloved characters, Dempsey, Nikolai, Richtofen, and Takeo. Or Takeo, I don't know, same thing. These 4 characters, especially in recent years, are probably some of the most iconic characters in all of gaming. While just stereotypes, in future maps, players would come to love them, especially when we got these guys. Numa also was the first map to give the player open spaces instead of being in close quarters all the time. And I have to say, after 2 weeks of playing nothing but Nocturne, Tone, and Farouk, I can confidently say I've probably had the most fun since training is an actual viable option. This open space is also what makes this map much easier than the previous 2, and is shown here more clearly than anywhere else. Especially when the highest round on this map is 11,843? What? Getting high rounds like this is only possible on Numa for a few reasons. The most important being that the cap for zombies in a round is 24, and also due to getting dogs every 5 rounds, guaranteeing a max ammo, meaning that you can use the Wonderwaff confidently without ever having to worry about ammo, and the only real challenge being how much time you have to play, and also these fucking dogs. These dogs are actually terrifying in World at War, and have killed me more than the actual zombies. I really miss this in Modern Zombies though, because the dogs in Black Ops 3 just pop after 1 bullet, making them just a free max ammo instead of a challenge like on World at War. The real reason why Numa is so easy is because the developers were experimenting with new features like dogs, and didn't realize how game-breaking they would be until it was too late. However, I think this easy difficulty on Numa is actually what makes it stand out compared to the rest of World at War. Noct is a difficult map and is very bare bones, but introduced us to zombies. Farouk innovated a lot on the mode and had a true horror vibe to it. Darius gave us Pack-a-Punch and set the stage for Black Ops 1, but Numa is just that high round map where you can hop on and have fun. While easy, the map wouldn't be the same without it. Which brings me to my next point. Black Ops 1's Numa may be one of the worst remasters of all time simply because it destroyed what made Numa so iconic. Without the easy high rounds, it takes away from what the map was, and I would say is even enough to bring it down a tier. This doesn't mean all of Black Ops 1's Numa is bad though, as the map still plays the same and adds Mule Kick, as well as the refined Black Ops 1 mechanics which make the map more replayable. If you remember from my Farouk video, I talked about this epileptic room, but there is something much worse in Black Ops 1 Numa, and that is the Wonderwaff. For some reason, every time you shoot the Waff, it feels like you're getting flashbanged by Requise.
Now when I flash somebody, it's like I just slapped them in the face with a fucking napkin from a little kid's birthday party. But when I get fucking flashed, it's like some big brolic black dude named fucking Requise pulls a fucking bedsheet over the head of my head and just proceeds to skull fuck me.
Numa on its own is a very bland map and needs the help from old World at War mechanics to help it stand out. I don't think the map is bad in any way, and honestly is still a decent survival map that can be fun if you try and ignore how long the rounds will take you. Black Ops 3 Numa on the other hand is honestly pretty fun, especially with 4 players. It just gets so chaotic, especially if people are just popping gobblegums and spamming traps. I actually think Black Ops 3's remaster is underrated. But to be fair, most people aren't going to want to spam gums just to make a map playable. Other than the graphical enhancements though, I really dislike the mud. Both Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3's mud are just horrible. It gives you 0 mobility if you accidentally walk through it, and can result in an unavoidable down. Which is a shame because the mud being an issue makes those areas where you can't rely on even if you have no other option. Meaning it would probably be better for you to hang yourself like Peter than try and make it through the mud. I will say though, I do like Black Ops 3's remake a lot more than Black Ops 1's. However, nobody ever plays either of these so just stick to World at Wars. Alright, so it's that time again where I give my rating on this map based off of my very legit, no scam, 100% accurate system called iPlacers, which, if you don't already know, is an acronym for how I rate my maps. It stands for Innovation, Progression, Layout, Atmosphere, Content, Easter Eggs, Replayability, and Survival. Also, for anyone interested, here's the rubric I use for grading these maps, rating each category 1 through 5. Innovation, I gave it a 2. As much as it is hated on for having very little, actually did some important things like gave us boss zombies, a new wonder weapon, and really enforced the idea of a side Easter egg in the mode, which are all very crucial parts to modern zombies, and you have to give it some credit. Progression I gave it 2, because getting the wonder waff is so incredibly easy. Your only real challenge in progression is hoping you get Jug first. Layout I think gets a 2 as well, as it's very basic overall, but doesn't flow together very well, but shout out Zipline again. Atmosphere gets a 3, right in the middle. I think Numa's atmosphere is wildly underrated. I don't think it's great, but it definitely has a lot to it, like the animal and bug noises that can be heard, making you feel like you're in an actual swamp, as well as the sounds of babies crying, making you wonder what went on here. Content gets a 2. There isn't much on this map, but it does have more than the previous maps. Easter eggs gets a 2 again. It really showed us how little Easter eggs would be important for the game's future, and the music Easter egg for The One is one of my favorite songs in all of Zombies, and is massively underrated. Replayability gets a 3. It can be decently replayable because getting to high rounds is so easy, it can become addicting, and the only reason I don't have it higher is because once you get to round 20, you've pretty much experienced all the map can offer. Survival gets a 3. It's a very basic survival map, but can be very fun to go for high rounds, especially with friends. This week of Numa has easily been my favorite so far, and as much as I know this map is not perfect, nowhere near in fact, I honestly needed this change from playing on small close quarters maps with no space to something like Numa where I feel like I have some freedom to move and actually train. Really, Numa had so much potential, but due to its time, it was held back, so my final rating for Numa, with a rating of 19 points, C tier, average.
No, don't run. Guys, look, I have a wonder waff. Let me see if I can kill myself with this.
Whoever kills himself first wins. Go! Seagull! Down yourself, Seagull!
I win.
He won.
I'm the best zombies player of all time. Obviously.
And the game.
Most downs, so, clearly I won. It's
Well,
like golf, whoever has the highest score wins.
Martin Luther, a dooba daba had a dream. Martin Luther, a dooba daba had a dream. Bitch, you know what the fuck I dooba daba mean, bitch. Martin Luther, a dooba had a dream. Martin Luther, a dooba daba had a dream.